Good morning, I'm back, bright and ready for this week. Had a couple of days off, Sunday and Monday, so I hope you haven't missed me too much. I am back working on the little green cabinet. So you guys, some of you might have watched me on the main Dixie Belle page painting this one. I have used, I used 3 greens on this one. The main colour is the Kudzu green, which, yeah, as you can see, that's the main. It's like a really nice mid-tone, very farmhouse sort of style green. I've used some mint julep and a little bit of the very much lighter farmhouse green. Hey, Jackie. Hey. Did you miss me? So this is where we got to. I did the first coat on the live on the Dixie Belle page, and then I've done a second coat which finished off my blend. Morning, Greta. So it's really subtle. I haven't gone. It's really subtle. The green is great, Jackie, isn't it? It is. I mean, I love most of the greens, but I think this is one of my favourites. And I just highlighted the fronts of these carved panels in the mint julep and the farmhouse green, and really the rest of it is the Kudzu. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not entirely sure. That was it. That's all I've done, and I've quite heavily distressed it back. I just felt like this was leaning towards a more farmhouse finish, and once I'd done the top as well, it just really felt like distressing it back was the right thing to do. And I've gone quite heavy in some areas, but I've tried to keep it random. I'm not one for. I don't like distressing on like the centre of panels. I think that looks weird. I don't think that's where natural distressing would happen. So it's very much like on the raised parts, on the corners, everything that's raised that I could hit with the sandpaper, basically distressed back. The mid-tone top, Jackie. So for the top, I stripped this back completely. My new favourite thing to do is to mix the No Pain gel stain with Big Mama's butter. So I used Orange Grove on this one because that is my favourite of the scents. So you mix those together. It's roughly a 50-50 mix, but it basically gives you a tinted wax. So I put that on, and it's a wiping back one. So you're not, you know, the gel stains you can use in 2 ways. So you can leave it on in a thick layer, let it dry, and then you can reapply and build your opacity that way. I personally prefer to use it where you put it on and wipe it back, so that you can see much more of the natural grain. This basically gives you a bit more sheer colour, so you're looking more of like a tinted wax product, and you wipe it back still and then kind of buff it like you would a wax. So it's not going to give you a high sheen because of the stain content, but it gives you a wax finish. So it's a really nice soft buttery feel. Michelle, hi, how are you? So that's where we've gone, and I'm absolutely loving the warmth that it's brought to the top, because it's quite and you don't have to seal it. You could seal it again with this. Obviously, it's never going to have like a watertight kind of gator hide finish, but it is a wax finish. So if you like a wax finish, this is a way of using those products to just give you a different look. So yeah, basically that's giving you a seal. I'm probably going to do another coat of this, probably just with the butter. But yeah, it's giving you, it's a wax, it's a tinted wax. And you can still build the colour. Just see a little bit of green, a cheeky bit of green that's splashed there. I'll clean that up. So this morning I have had a little play. I've done a very small amount of work on here. Michelle, it's a really nice way to finish a top. I'm all for, especially I love oak. I really love oak, and it's a really good way of giving you a nice warm finish and quite a natural looking finish. Morning, Nicoletta. Janice, how's lockdown going? Do you know what? I have to be honest. My life kind of consists of getting up, dealing with Gracie, doing the school run, coming back to my workshop, finishing here, chatting to you lot, going back and doing the school run. Occasionally I might do food shopping. So my life really isn't that different. We did have a couple of days off and Gracie was working at the weekend. So yeah, it's, you know, it was essential travel because she's working. We wouldn't have gone with her and taken her somewhere just on a whim. So, you know, it's not that different. We have to follow all the protocols to go on set for her filming. She has to have a COVID test. Everyone has to have their temperature checked before going on, you know, masked up and everything. So you kind of, you know, nothing much has changed for us. Sharon, good morning. What do I use to wipe back the gel stain? I just use shop towels, workshop kitchen roll. Do you call this, you don't call this kitchen roll in America, do you? I'm not sure. But yeah, you know, any chuck away rag. You do need to be careful how you dispose of rag that's got any stain on, oil-based stain. The best recommended way to chuck away is to pop it in a bucket of water because the fumes can ignite. Doesn't happen often, but it can. They can self-ignite. So you just have to be careful the way you dispose of your rags that you use when you're using stain. Paper towels, thank you, Michelle. Okay, so let's get back to what I'm doing today now. So we've caught you up. I have got the bronze patina paint and I've done a little bit here. Again, I always said to you, this is kind of going to be a real, a bit more of a rustic piece, not a really, really clean finish. Over in the UK here, I can get this paint via Dixie Belle, but as a package they don't retail it because you can't get the patina spray. So I'm lucky. It is, the colour on its own is beautiful, but I can't get hold of the spray. But you could make your own, if you can get this, you can make your own spray because essentially the ingredients are vinegar and salt, I understand. But I'm not using it like that. I just love it. It's a really rich, beautiful colour. Spontaneous combustion, Lisa, indeed. Yes, it can apparently spontaneously combust. So I'm just dabbing this onto I've done this one. So this is before, we've painted the hardware. As I said to you before, on these type of pieces, sometimes the hardware can be difficult to get off. And because I'm kind of giving it that rustic farmhouse finish, it doesn't have to come off, get sprayed, be clean. So I've painted it. And again, farmhouse always feels like it might have been painted several times in its lifetime and people have slapped paint on over generations. So I don't get too fussy about taking the hardware off and making it pretty. Glad you told us never. Do you know what, Michelle? The whole combusting thing it was a real shock to me when I found out. I had no idea. And some containers will tell you to dispose of it carefully, and some doesn't seem to mention it. So it's always good to mention it, I think. Okay. And I can't remember if I said I'm using the Best Dang Wax in black. So I've done a little bit on this door. And again, I'm keeping it really subtle because I've got highlights and a little bit of shading with my colours. This is just to give a little bit more pop to those details. So I've just got one of my crafty, arty type of brushes because I don't want to load up masses of wax on this. I've done a little bit here. So I did go in with the farmhouse green and the mint julep. Just can you see the little highlight around the inner edges here, and on this bit here I've also popped some of the black wax, so it really is subtle, but it almost, if I bring you in a little bit more, can you just see where it's got that shadow where the carving underneath the carvings? So you know when you're doing text, a student burnt down half the college decorating area leaving a rag in a work bay. There you go. So it does happen. It's not just scaremongering. You know when you're doing text and they talk about drop shadows, or if you've ever done any kind of website stuff and just graphic design probably in general, they talk about like drop shadows. It's kind of giving that drop shadow look. So there's a highlight there, but there's also a shadow part. So I'm using tiny amount. I mean, you can barely see what I'm popping on the brush. Tiny amount. I've got one of my microfiber cloths to pull it back with. I have also got a smaller natural bristle brush to push it into any corners should I need to. But I'm basically just trying to kind of mix around and try different things. So I've done this area. I'm going to just really, really tightly. I don't really want it on the top edge of the carving. I'm trying to kind of get it as if the shadow is coming from underneath the carvings. So I'm just sort of pushing it into those crevices. Because I'm going to actually be pulling most of the product back. Okay, put that down. So I'm just going to get myself a little corner so that you can control it better. And you see where I said I'm actually pulling back most of the product. Now I haven't sealed. Some people will say you need to seal your Dixie Belle paint first before you use the wax. You can. Because I'm using not much product, because it's water-based, the best down wax, you can top coat over the top. I haven't sealed before using the best down wax. So your paint may absorb that wax more, but you can see I'm pulling most of it back straight away, so it's not giving it much time to absorb. You might find that it just makes it more workable if you top coat before putting your wax on. But I think it really is just a case of experiment and see how you find things work better for you. And the Dixie Belle products do work so well together. There we go. So, like I said, subtle, subtle, subtle. It's just giving you a little bit of shade and then that little highlight. It's very, very subtle. Oops, got wonky there. Okay, whoops. Let's bring you back here. So I'm going to just push that over a little bit. I've got great news. So as I said to you the other day, we are in, we're kind of in a bit of a lockdown at the moment. And my husband has basically got exactly the same shed as I've got for his gym, because one of the things he does, he's a personal trainer. So his is next door. And during the big lockdown, because we couldn't have people coming to the house to train, I had his gym as my storage shed, which was awesome. I mean, I can't tell you how good it was. People weren't coming to the house. It was great. But he's had it back since we've come out of lockdown. So since, when did he go back in? August, I think it was relaxed enough that he could have people back to the house. We've decided to the garage is going to be his gym now. So people aren't going to come through to the house, which means his gym is my storage shed now. So we're underway with moving everything in there, which means I've got more room in my workshop. It's great. Nicoletta, wonderful in teaching everything in the details, carefully following. Oh, lovely, thank you. So I'm going to come back to my wax. Now, originally when I was painting this, I was thinking I'm going to need a small brush to get into all of these nooks and crannies. I haven't bothered because I'm not going for that really, really perfect clean finish. I've got most of it and I've distressed over it. I'm going to leave it. It doesn't look like I've missed bits painting. It just looks like it's on purpose. So again, I'm just going into the corners on this bit. Just making sure my knees aren't in the way. And where I've got this carving, I want that to pop as I've done on the other side. So I'm just trying to get the product sort of, again, right into those nooks and crannies because I'm going to wipe most of it back. I could probably use a smaller brush for this bit, but this is the one I've got in my hand now. So, and I'm just going to run a bit down there and a bit down there. I can't tell you how excited I am. Morning, Nikki. Yay, Jackie. Did I miss something, or did you just like what I'm doing? I don't know if I've missed something. Yeah, next year when we can actually announce all the things that Gracie's been working on this year, it's going to be so exciting. It's just fab. It's so good for her. I'm going to use my little bristle brush that I showed you. So this is just literally, I mean, I think this is only available in the UK. It is just a small natural bristle brush, very, very cheap, got it on eBay. And it's really just to kind of spread that around and push it into the gaps a bit more. and it sort of looks a bit like a disaster. Oh yeah, about my extra space. I think because there's a bit of a delay with the comments. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. It's the simple things. Well, we've been talking about, because I've got so busy, we were talking about having to put up a new shed. But this way, we don't have to do that. So we can just convert our garage into his gym. Every time I say nooks and crannies, you want a muffin? Oh, they use it in a slogan. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now. So I'm back to my microfiber cloth. And I'm just going to rub it back. If you find that you've still got too much product on, so whether you're using the grey or the dark or the brown, haven't got the brown, it's on my next order. So I will do something with that as well. Should be sometime in December. If you're struggling and you feel like you've still got too much product, one, maybe it would be an idea to try it with top coat first and then putting your wax on. And then you can top coat back over the top of it. The other thing to try is to use the clear wax, the clear Best Dang wax, because it almost acts like an eraser. So if you put it on your cloth, you'll pull more of the colour off. So that's always worth bearing in mind as well. Just want to get in there. But I'm getting right into the corners with my cloth so that I can pull it actually as much product as I can back out. These are the Best Dang waxes. They're easier to use, I think, than a traditional oil-based type of wax, because they're water-based. They're just smoother. They're very, very soft. They're very smooth to use. So I think if you've not waxed before, or if you're a bit nervous, the Best Dang waxes are a really good starting point. And you can use them to create a decorative sort of finish much easier. They're much easier to control. Because using normal wax to finish a piece as well, it can be hard work if you're buffing it. Jackie, is my cloth dry or damp? This is bone dry. To be fair, a damp cloth should work because it's a water-based product. But I haven't actually tried that. So I may go in with a little bit. I haven't got clear to hand, actually. I didn't bring it down. I may go in, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy that it's popped it enough. I'm quite pleased with that. There you go. It's not, I know you're not head on to it, but there, it's cute. Which of the colour waxes do you find you use most? Do you know what, Tracy? I've actually only just really got into using the waxes more, in all honesty. I think black is probably going to be my most used. The grey is, I tried the grey first and I like it. It's quite I think it's got quite a blue tone to it, the grey. So it will have its place. I did that a while ago. I did the Faded Grandeur pinky toned bedside table with the transfer on the side. And that I used grey on. So I think you've got to see what's complementary. But I think black will probably, if you had to pick one, I think black. But like I said, I haven't used the brown yet. It's on order. It'll be on order. So. You've got the matching desk. Oh, nice. You don't understand wax. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I think wax, sometimes people just find it a little bit daunting. But if you go with the Best Dang wax, I think it is more workable. Having said that, if you've got a desk, fine to wax finish like the front. I would go with something more hardcore for the top because you're going to be using it, or if you're selling it on, it's going to be a used piece. It's going to be a bit more of a high traffic piece. So I'd probably go with a tougher top coat and then ultimately gator hide. But yeah, to pull out your details, this is the way to go. And I was contemplating maybe using Dixie Dirt as well, which could also just be stuck. Use it basically in the same way, but you would have to pop in some wax for it to stick to. Yes, Lisa, I agree. Yeah, I have done wax before and then hated it because it's just looked too dirty. So that was before I discovered the Dixie Belle and these Best Dang waxes. So like I said, they're just easier to control. And if you start with the grey to get your confidence, because it's lighter, so it's more subtle. But yeah, you've just seen, I didn't use much product. There you go. Didn't use much. Michelle, you've got... Yeah, brown is more of an ageing look, I would agree. You've mixed black and brown. Nice sound. And if you're concerned, clear wax first and then black. Oh, that's a good... Yeah, that's a good tip. So pop clear first, and then your black's not going to be quite so intense. Wiping back the key. Thanks, Lisa. Looks wicked. So I'll do. I tell you what. So you've seen what I've done there. I've shown you. So let's. You don't need to see me do the drawers. I'll do those when I've finished with you guys. So let's just pop a little bit of the patina on. So like I said, this is the one that I've just done. I've almost done it as like a dry brush finish. So these handles, just to let you know, the rings are from another set. So when I got the piece, the backings were there and I had 3 rings, but 1 ring missing. And I didn't have anything to match, and I couldn't find anything to match either. I was really struggling to get these off. And then I found these rings and I had 4. And I might even have another one, but I had 4 matching. And I think they look okay. I think they tie back okay with it. So I'm digging it. You need to give the patina paint quite a good shake. Yeah, I agree, Michelle. I don't think black doesn't make it look dirty unless you use too much. Yeah, you have got to be careful, but trial and error, a little bit of practice. Don't be scared of it, for sure. Don't be scared of it. So I really love the richness of this colour. Oh, look at that. Yum, 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 yum. I've got a tiny, tiny art brush. I've also got one of Gracie's art brushes. But you know what? It's really nice and soft. Stolen it. She's never seen this one again. Just a bit bigger. So I've got a little rag so that I've not got too much. Even on this tiny brush, I really, really don't want too much product. So I'm almost doing like a dry brushing just to pick those highlights out. Because it's like a lattice design. You can't see, you're not close enough. Let me just see if I can adjust slightly and bring that down a bit more. That's not the right knob. Hang on. Let's see. Never have known about the rings. I know. If I hadn't have told you, you'd have just thought. So the backing plates are the originals, but the rings are from my stash. Luckily, I had something that worked. So I don't know if you can see enough of that detail. Eye makeup brushes. That's a really good idea. They're super soft. But it's got like a lattice design, and there's all kind of scrolly bits and things. But again, it's just trial and error. If you don't like what you do, you can just wipe it back. You could just paint over the green again with the green. And I'm really not being... So I'm using this as well because I still haven't had any gemstone mousses. So I'm going to have to wait for that to become available before I can get it on order. But I do love this bronze, to be fair. A bit more around there. So you see, I just want the highlights. Again, as if it's been painted and then the use of the handle has worn off the paint from the high points. So sweet. And I will probably use some of the wax, once this is dry, I'll use some wax to just go around and create that same kind of shadow. And I know we've talked about it not being dirty, but to kind of dirty it up, because, you know, if you've got mucky fingers and you're going in your cupboard all the time, it starts to get grubby. So it's just those kind of thinking about how a piece would be used over time, if that's the look you're going for. You know, pieces used over time get grubby. They do. And this is the look that I kind of wanted to have on here. So like I said, it's a very almost dry brushed kind of finish to just hit those high points. Michelle, the bronze is fab, isn't it? I have to keep making sure my knees aren't blocking your view. It's tricky work, this, you know. No, more nooks and crannies, yeah, more nooks and crannies. We love a nook and cranny. Oh, there's a little crack there, I think. So, I'm really liking how this is. It's a really subtle, shimmery bronze colour. I just think it's perfect. I might just hit some high points on the hinges as well. Just let me turn you there. Oh, excuse all the muck in the background. I'm going to get organised, hopefully, this week. I don't know. So I'm just going to pop a bit on the high point, but I'm probably going to kind of just rub it back there like that with my finger as well. I feel I don't want too much going on there. No, I'm not that bothered because I've distressed back on the hinges. I don't think it actually needs it there. Changed my mind. So I'm just going to get a bit of rag and just off that back. That'll never notice. Let's go back over here and just finish that other handle. Would you clear coat the rings and the black plates? Yes, Jackie. When I top coat the whole piece, I'm going to use... I'm probably going to use flat on this one, just because, again, it's that farmhouse look. Do you know what? My plan is there is no plan. I suspect I'll use the flat clear coat, and I shall just do the handles and everything all at once. But not the top, because it's waxed. You see what I'm doing? Yeah, just about. And it doesn't matter if you get a bit heavy-handed on one piece, you can either wipe it back, paint over it. This is all about, I'm not looking for a really, really uniform finish on this. I'm looking for kind of a worn over time look. So you see, I've gone a bit heavy-handed on one edge here. Don't really matter too much. I think the flat will be perfect. Yeah, I'm digging this. Okay, because I hadn't been in the workshop for yesterday, Sunday. Did I come in? I don't think I even came in on Saturday. And you know when you walk in, it just made me smile. It really did make me smile. I'm going to pop the camera back a little bit. Whoop. And tilt you back up. Mayonnaise to clean wood. Lisa, does it work well? That's interesting. I know that people use vinegar and ketchup to clean hardware, but I've never heard of mayonnaise on wood. I've heard of mayonnaise for water stains, actually, I think. Not that I've done it, but I've heard about it. Just put my lid back on. Sorry if you can only see the top of my head. So, that's not dry at all. Is that one dry that I've done earlier? Let's just pop a little bit of wax around this one, because that one I did before I came live, so it's dry. It's quite mild today, so stuff's drying as it should be. I had because it was colder last week, everything took ages to dry. It felt like it. So I'm literally being really, really, really gentle around the edges there. I should probably use a smaller brush for this, but never mind. That is what I've got. Back to my microfiber cloth. I'm just going to pull it straight back. And you see, I don't mind that it's smudged a bit further down. It will pull back, but I don't mind that. It's that grubby bit from around the handle, I don't mind. Oh, I like that. Again, they're just tiny, tiny subtles. What have we got there? Jackie's just asking, does it leave an oily residue? Yeah, that's interesting. So do you when you clean it with mayo, do you have to then give it a good clean afterwards? Is it? Yeah. Okay. Do you know what else I'm going to do? I'm just going to run a bit down these creases as well. It works well if you when you do some stuff and then have a good stand back and look and see. Just constantly check the balance of your piece and to see if you're happy. So I'm popping it on so I can have a bit more control with my artist brush, but then I'm kind of squidging it in with this natural bristle brush. Pull it back off those high points, and what that'll do as well, you see, where I have popped it in that crease, it will make the raised parts pop more. Stop there. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. See, it's just, everything I'm doing, each layer is just subtle. I'm going to do this one because on my camera, this one looks ever so much lighter than this. Although, in reality, when I was standing back just now, it looked pretty even. So I definitely think this one needs it. Marks, if you leave it longer and it will penetrate all into the wood, clean off with a cloth. Okay. You found out by accident. Yeah, like I said, Lisa, I've seen it used for, I think, removing watermarks from like an old finish. I've never tried it. I've seen people talk about doing that. Old pine after a light sand. Oh, okay. So you've used it on walnut veneer as well. It must be, like you say, it must be the oils in it that nourish it. I was a bit worried I'd gone too heavy on the distressing on this bit, but actually I love it. Lisa, you wanted the empty mayonnaise bottle so that you could store Dixie Belle paint in it. That's hilarious. I love that. Instead of buying those FIMO, whatever those bottles are called, that's a really good idea. There we go. So it's just toned it down ever so slightly, but you've still got those subtle, you've got the subtlety of the farmhouse green and the mint julep still, but everything else is just enhancing the kudzu and giving you shade and depth. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for all the additional tips from people. So don't forget, you can either clear coat and then use your wax. You can use clear wax first. You can use clear wax afterwards as an eraser if you feel like you've gone too heavy-handed with the waxes. The patina paint, not available to all markets, so sorry if you're in one of those that you can't. But I haven't got the active spray solution, so I'm just using it as a paint in a dry brush technique, and just have a play. Basically, you do the cleaning either with mayo and ketchup. Yeah. So we've talked about mayo. So it's great. And yeah, the top was the mix of the Big Mama's butter and No Pain gel stain. So I hope that's helped. I hope any of you that were saying that you've got nervousness about using wax, try the Best Down waxes because they are water-based and much easier to use. Okay, Jackie, can't wait to see this one staged. I know, I'm going to get this. I think this is going to be ready tomorrow and photographed tomorrow. I've got some other stuff that I'm working on, and I've got a live on the Redesign with Prima page on Thursday. I will share across the details because I think it's 2 o'clock UK time, but I will let you know. So I've got to do some prep for that. No idea what I'm going to do for that yet. And we've got some furniture shifting to do for the new storage area. So I'm all very excited. Lisa, sorry for going off topic. No, Lisa, it's not off topic. It's all things that I'm more than happy for you to share tips on here while I'm live. It makes my brain work differently because then you made me think about the ketchup. So please don't stop sharing. That's what I'm here for. Brilliant. Thanks everybody, thanks for your time. Drop us some love if you don't already love the page. Give us a like and a follow. Yeah, that's probably it. If you've not watched us live and you're watching on replay, drop a hashtag replay in the comments and I'll catch up with everybody at the end to make sure there's nothing I've missed. Thanks guys, bye.